Okay, a couple of things I want to say before this review starts. I want to talk about or address a lot of things from other reviews I said that made me feel like an idiot. I keep thinking I should have said a lot of things diplomatic, which is something that T'Challa was when he was being a great negotiator with Thanos. I should have said negotiator. Yet my brain is so dumb not thinking of words instantly that I just start to fumble and think, Jesus, I should have said that. I should have paused the videos recording and just at least give myself a chance to think what was the word I'm thinking of. I usually draw a blank. It's my stupidity that gets the best of me that I keep forgetting words that should have been put in the video. The other things I want to say is the whole thing he's saying about Starro was never in a animated show, DC show, except for Batman Brave and the Bold. But I was wrong. He was in Batman Beyond as well in one episode that I totally forgot. I was very dumb for that. So now I know Starro has been appeared more than once in the DC animations. I just don't think he was ever in an animated movie. Maybe he was, maybe not, but more importantly, not as the main villain, technically, in a movie. But he has been a main villain in the TV shows, only a few of them, even the Robot Chicken one, of course. There. Other things. I was blinking on what movies I was trying to remember that was talking about memory, illusions, and everything. And I mentioned Inception. And yes, that was the best example, but I also forgot stuff like a Minority Report doing that as well. But instead of like memories, it's talking about like, oh, the prediction of what's going to happen to people and what other things that happen to them. Not just death. That's not what the precogs were made. I mean, the precogs were made about murder, but they were talking about the precogs doing other things. They can predict other things that happen that's going to happen in the future, which does help Tom Cruise escape his enemies in a nice and cool chase at the mall. Oh, and also the whole like twist ending thing where I think is left to interpretation, that where is Tom Cruise actually have a happy ending, or is it just an illusion to him? And I'm not going to say what it is because I want you guys to figure that out yourself. And if you ever see Minority Report, because I know a few people don't, because trust me, I have a lot of friends that don't watch a lot of movies more than I do. So, you know, it's something to like say like, is Tom Cruise in an illusion or is he in reality? And that's something that is pretty good. And also about the Tom Cruise movie again, Minority Report, he does miss the past. He does miss the memories he had because he has a son that he cared about, and he loves his son in that movie, and then he sadly lost his son in the film, and you can see like him keep reliving memories, but it's not like the reminiscence, it's more like he's like looking at old home videos, but the home videos look like, you know, he can mimic everything he can say, remembers every line he says in those home movies because he's like thinking about his son, and he's just pretending that his son is there in these hologram home movies, and it's very depressing. He's also addicted to drugs. He's an addict in this movie. So there's a few things in common that Reminiscence probably took from that. Okay, I think that is it, what I have to say. What am I reviewing again? Oh, right. Salutations, everyone. I'm Niru Bikoshi, and welcome back to another Niru at the Movies. Today's review is Snake Eyes. Yes. So, I'm not the biggest G.I. Joe fan. Never was. I never watched the cartoon. I never even read the comics. I didn't even know there were comics. But there was a lot of good history with the comics. But if I have to say a lot of things I like about G.I. Joe, my favorite character is, well, Snake Eyes. I mean, Snake Eyes is a pretty cool, chill character. And for my dumbass 6-year-old me thought that Snake Eyes was played by a black dude. So I was like, holy shit, a black ninja. Turns out to be a white dude who's American, and it's the same here. It's an American character, even though he's played by someone Malaysian, but American enough, as they say in the movie, which is okay. And the origin of Snake Eyes has been, well, interesting. An orphan kid who's been taken in by the Hard Master, and Storm Shadow, who was a kid as well, was a bit jealous. Tommy, he was mad, and he had killed his master out of jealousy and hatred, thinking that Snake Eyes was better than him at everything. Or, in this case, with the origin being different in the sequel to Retaliation, it's revealed that he didn't kill his master. It was actually the mummy himself, Arnold Vosloo.
Yeah. Look what I got.
Who plays a character that goes and changes his appearance with nanotech technology to go and pretend that he's part of the clan. I think the Yashikage, I think they call themselves, and then he was framed for murdering the Hard Master. And I honestly was like okay with this origin of Snake Eyes, but honestly the origin here about Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow being blood brothers, I honestly thought was pretty cool. Just to think that they do have some history behind each other, actually being friends, actually having loyalty, and actually having a development between each other that shows that they actually do care about each other and have honor between them and wanting to be blood brothers. But the thing is how it's handled in this movie, it makes Snake Eyes look like an asshole. Sorry, I need to drink more of this vodka to get for this shit. I'm drinking it straight. See, that's how you know it's bad. But I had to say, before I get to the criticisms of this, I did like that history between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, actually them having honor between them, becoming blood brothers, and actually have a loyalty and trust between them. And you can see Storm Shadow does trust him as a blood brother, because clearly he doesn't have any other siblings, and how even his cousin was a traitor to his clan. So it makes sense that he believes that he wanted to trust someone that he cares about that actually feels like a brother to him. And I think that was a pretty good origin story with Storm Shadow. And to be honest, it's really great. Spoilers, because, I'm drunk. I'm not gonna restrain myself from spoilers. But I did love that this was a legit Storm Shadow origin story. Him being fueled with vengeance because his cousin betrayed his clan. Him being fueled by it, but he is neglecting it. And he would take any chance and opportunity to kill his cousin because he betrayed the clan, because he wished he didn't banish him. He wished he gave his punishment by death. And he's been thinking that for all those years. And once he starts to use this powerful jewel that the clan swore not to use, and when Storm Shadow uses it because his vengeance fueled him to kill his cousin, he's later banned from the clan, and he can no longer be the heir and head of the family anymore because of that. And because of all the betrayal he's witnessed due to Snake Eyes betraying the clan because he wanted vengeance for his father that died in the beginning of the movie. He feels betrayed. He feels hated. But since he feels since Snake Eyes said that he offered his life to Storm Shadow, and in this promise and debt he wanted to give to Storm Shadow because he feels like he owes him that much, Storm Shadow does take that as a promise to say like he will kill Snake Eyes once he sees him again. And then he later then joins Cobra at the end of the movie and then dons the new name Storm Shadow.
Call me Storm Shadow.
Which I feel like that origin fitted very perfectly and well into the story. It was handled well in the story, integrated pretty well in the story. It feels more like that. And I honestly love this origin. You see the pain in Storm Shadow's eyes. You see the betrayal. You see how saddened he is. You see that he has failed his family, but also has a fuel of vengeance inside him that wants to be quenched to kill Snake Eyes after what happened, after what he did to the clan. And I honestly feel bad for Storm Shadow. All this pain and hatred, and then he turns to the bad guy at the end. I honestly did love that. It felt like an origin story about a man who has felt broken, feels betrayed, feels nothing but hatred all his life, and he lost his way at the end of the movie, which is sad. But, you know, he wanted to bring honor to his clan, bring honor to his family. He wanted to do everything to keep the peace, but sadly, it wasn't the case. And I honestly love that. That was really well written in this movie. I did love that. I love that. And even the actor, Andrew Koji, I know he's in a show called Warriors that HBO produces. I never seen it, but seeing his work in this movie, his fighting and everything, the stunt choreography in this film, I honestly want to take a look at this show and honestly see it, because this dude's a good actor. He's great. He's amazing in this film. With that said, Henry Golding. It's funny. First time I seen Henry Golding was The Gentleman with Matthew McConaughey. And his character in that movie is called Dry Eye. So, he went from Dry Eye to Snake Eyes. If they ever retcon the Netflix TV shows on the MCU, which I think they did, is it a missed opportunity to cast him as Bullseye as well? I'm joshing, okay? Hey. It'd be funny if he gets typecast as character whose nickname involves eyes. I don't hate him. He seems... I've seen a lot of these featurettes on YouTube of all the actors training hard for this fight choreography and the stunt choreography in this movie. I know that you talked to the original creator of the comics who made a good origin story of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, and they asked for, you know, advice, details, and wondering, hey, what should we do for a Snake Eyes origin movie that would seem faithful to the character? And it seemed really... It makes sense, actually. It makes sense why they asked him. It makes sense why they went up to him, because he made a comic called The Silent Interlude, which had no dialogue whatsoever, and it followed Snake Eyes as a story in that comic, as I heard, and they talked to him about, hey, what could we do to make a good Snake Eyes origin movie? And clearly they wanted to be faithful and honorable to this film, because it clearly shows the guy right there on the seat watching the movie being filmed that they really wanted legit advice on how to do a good Snake Eyes origin movie. You know, that's actually pretty cool. Actually pretty decent, and no less. It's better than the creators of the Dragon Ball Evolution movie that shat on the creator's ideas of how a Dragon Ball movie should be made and just completely destroyed the franchise's legacy completely.
You got a couple of dings there you might want to try buffing out.
If it hadn't been for the original creator to come up with a new series, Dragon Ball Super, so Dragon Ball Evolution wouldn't be the end of Dragon Ball's legacy, which is technically Dragon Ball Evolution was a necessary evil, so people can have more Dragon Ball anime in the future. So let's just say Evolution was a necessary evil, for that to happen. But I do love that this movie wanted to be faithful, wanted to portray the source material correctly, and I respect that. And hopefully that wasn't a marketing ploy to appease the masses of the fans. With that said, Snake Eyes is a total dick in this movie. And his origin feels all over the place. It's not good. I'm not kidding. It's not good. It's completely trash. Granted, the whole origin of his father dying and then later finding out his father was a G.I. Joe, cool. I'm fine with that. The whole thing of him wanting to get revenge and he starts working with the wrong people and he doesn't know it until later on, fine. I'm okay with it. But I don't like how it was handled. Snake Eyes' story just feels meh. It doesn't feel like, why did he take a vow of silence? There were moments in the movie I feel like he could have been like, okay, it's a terrorist organization, I shouldn't be fighting with them, I shouldn't be fighting with Cobra, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I shouldn't be fighting with these people, and then he starts to face the challenges, learning about to extinguish all ego and be more selfless and kind and everything to others and everything, and not be aggressive and everything, and also letting go of your burdens, which the burden of his father's death that fuels his vengeance, he should let it go, empty his heart. He learns all this, yet he still chooses to steal because of his vengeance. And I found it annoying. I just didn't like how he was just being an asshole still. Like, his vengeance means so much more to him, even though these people shared the kindness in his heart. Hell, even saying that he wanted to be blood brothers with Storm Shadow. Until then, he just uses Storm Shadow's fucking blood just to steal, like, because the only way to access this powerful gem is to go and if you have DNA, like you have the same bloodline, that's the only way you can access the stone to unlock the safe, is if you just prick your thumb on this touchpad and it will scan for your DNA to see if you're the same bloodline as the family, and then bada bing bada boom, you're inside the safe. And he uses the blood on his sword, Snake Eyes' sword, to go and just that, because he made a blood oath with freaking Storm Shadow, and then he steals it. And I'm like, it kills the meaning of being a blood brother. Hell, it kills the meaning of Snake Eyes wanting to be a blood brother to Storm Shadow and actually right his wrongs. But it just makes him seem like a total dick, that he doesn't give a shit about him. This man who freaking took him in, saved him from bleeding to death because he thought like, hey, I'm gonna save this man's life. But no, this bullshit just happens where he just like, nope, I'm just gonna take the blood, I'm gonna steal the gem so I can get the revenge by killing my father's killer. And then guess what? He learns It wasn't because everyone was kind to him. It wasn't because everyone was happy to him that makes him understand this is wrong. I shouldn't betray this family. I shouldn't betray this clan. No, it's holy shit. I just realized the man who killed my father also worked for Cobra, and Cobra was just taking him down and saying, nope, you used to work for Cobra, now you're gonna fucking die. That's when he starts to realize I made a mistake, and I'm like, oh my god. It was horrible. Horrible. There were so many ways you could have changed this. Hell, there were so many things you could do to make this better, to make this interesting. Like, have Snake Eyes say no, forget about my revenge, and just be like, no, forget about it, and want to be with the clan, and just say he's out from Cobra. And then after that, he has to reveal his lie and say, hey, I'm sorry I did this shit, so I want to play back. I know you won't be able to trust me again. And then have Storm Shadow have that moment of like, oh shit, I used the gem to try to get my revenge, and then have him banned from the clan. That way at least we can have a moment where Snake Eyes actually earns the trust, actually earns everyone's trust in the clan by revealing his truth, by not betraying them, by not stealing the gem, and have Cobra be like, fine, and infiltrate the base to steal the gem somehow. It just feels so dumb how it's handled, and Snake Eyes doesn't feel sympathetic. Snake Eyes doesn't feel like he earned the right to have that suit, doesn't feel like he earned the right to earn this clan's trust. I mean, yes, he completed the third trial after letting Storm Shadow's cousin get killed at the end, but nothing feels earned. Like, that trust felt too easy to earn from that clan. There's no way he should have earned that trust quickly, because that was just... Christ. There's no mention of him taking that vow of silence. There's no mention of him wanting to, like, right there. He does regret the wrong he did, but the wrong he did, he could have said, like, I feel ashamed, I feel like I dishonored, I should take a vow of silence because of what I did. He could have said that, but he didn't. He was like, I'm gonna find Storm Shadow and right this wrong, and then he puts on the suit and he's off, and the movie ends. I don't feel like he became Snake Eyes. I just feel like I wore the suit, I'm totally Snake Eyes, and the movie. Nothing feels like Snake Eyes. It just feels like some annoying guy who can never shut up talking. How is it we went from a movie where Taskmaster becomes a silent protagonist to Snake Eyes being a talkative character?
Okay, I'll bite. What's the punchline? I can tell. You're a little impressed with me. I'm sorry, the 3 challenges are the one now?
That too should have been switched. Taskmaster should have talked, and Snake Eyes should have stayed silent. We're living in a backwards world right now. Nothing feels like Snake Eyes. It didn't feel like it, it didn't sound like it. It just felt like dude didn't learn anything. I mean, yes, he learned something, but everything about his origin just feels like a footnote. It feels like more of Storm Shadow's story rather than Snake Eyes' story. Hell, they should have fleshed it out more. They should have brought more. Hell, it's 2 hours long. But even then, it's not like 2 hours and 2 hours and like 30 minutes. It's like just 2 hours just to make a quick movie, and that's it. While we're on the subject of characters, let's talk about the Baroness. I mean, look at her. She doesn't look like the Baroness, she looks like Bayonetta. Preferably Bayonetta from Bayonetta 2. I honestly don't think the music they chose for her is right, because every time I see her appear fighting in this movie, I just expect this music to pop up. Scarlet! Okay, let me say this. I love Samara Weaving. Samara Weaving is like one of my favorite actors at the moment right now. And I loved her since I saw that first Babysitter movie. I know everyone hates The Babysitter, but honestly, I loved her in that. I loved her performance. I loved the character she played, B, in that film. I think she was great in that film. As much as people say it's a bad movie, yeah, you're right, but it's an enjoyable bad movie for me. I never seen the sequel, but it didn't seem very interesting to me to watch. But I loved her in Ready or Not. She did a great job in that movie more, and I think it was a better movie to show her acting chops in that more than frickin' Babysitter. But I liked her in that regardless. She was great as I forgot which daughter she was. She was either Bill or Ted's daughter in the third Bill and Ted movie, but she was great in that too. I liked her in that film as well. Here, she's just there. She's got red hair, and she's Scarlet. She's just there. Like, she's not even an essential character in the film. She just feels tacked on. Like, we need at least one G.I. Joe character in this movie that is fighting, because we already have one character that's from the Cobra side. We need another character that's in the G.I. Joe side. I mean, you can argue the fact Snake Eyes is in the movie, but come on. At this point, when you see this film, you're just gonna be wondering, where is Snake Eyes? Because it doesn't feel like him whatsoever to warrant to say, yeah. Because nothing is gonna show it. You just see the movie, you think the origin, but it doesn't feel like he earned the title Snake Eyes. It just feels like, yeah, he's wearing the suit. I say that's good enough for the audience, right? No, it's not. I love you, Samara, but sadly, you're just nothing in this movie. You were kind of meh. Not only that, let's talk about the action in this movie. Iko Uwais, if that's how you pronounce his name, is in this film. Andrew Koji, he did The Warrior, so I'm guessing there's some good stunt choreography, fight choreography work in there. You know what got me hyped to see this movie? One of the fight choreographers and stunt choreographer for this movie is the same fight and stunt choreographer that did all the stunts and fight work in Rurouni Kenshin. And let me tell you this, I'm a man who loves swordplay in movies. I adore it. I love that in the Pirates movies. I love that in any samurai ninja or anything in Japan kind of movies that had that kind of swordplay fight choreography. I love in films that I enjoy. I love it more than gunplay. Gunplay is just boring to me. It's like, oh, shoot a gun and that's it. But swordplay, oh, it's intense. It is beautiful to watch. I love swordplay in films. It's amazing to me. I enjoy anything that has an unbroken shot, an unbroken shot of seeing someone fight. I heard there was this movie called Crazy Samurai Monshu or something that is an entire one-shot film of just pure swordplay, and I want to see it so badly. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard. But what I saw from a few clips looks cool. And I want to see the new final Rurouni Kenshin films that came out. The last ones that were meant to come out a long time ago, but sadly didn't due to complications to one of the actors that got pregnant and they couldn't do the film yet. And I'm looking forward to Rurouni Kenshin Part 1 and Part 2. I really want to see those because I love those films. And the fight choreography in those movies are amazing. There's minimal cuts. There's minimal cuts to the fighting. Just pure, like, adrenaline that keeps you on your seat, keeps you on the edge. The tension of it. It's beautiful. I love it. And they got him to do this fight work, the stunt choreography in this film, and I was so excited thinking, oh man, it's gonna be intense. And I don't and the problem with that was that's the choreographer, but it's not the director. The director for that movie knew what the action needed. He knew that the action needed to stick with the audience. He knew how to film it. He knew how to shoot it well. When he made Rurouni Kenshin, knew how to get all the actors to learn how to do the moves and everything. And as much as the actors in the film have said that they did a lot of training and work for the film, the filming and editing for this movie is trash. As much as it feels like the shaky cam is gonna show you something cool, it's just pure edited garbage. Like, you think you're gonna see a cutscene, you think you're gonna see a fight scene that's gonna be well shot and minimal cuts, but the movie is very quick cut editing. Not as bad as Liam Neeson jumping over a fence that took 16 different cuts in Taken 3. But it's terrible because you don't get to see the fights. They get cut away too quickly. You think you're going to see a cool badass scene where Iko Uwais as the hard master has to fight all these men in front of him, and you think there's going to be this unedited, unbroken, seamless shot of like pure adrenaline fighting, like something you see in the Raid movie, something he's in, but it's not. It's just like he punches one dude, cuts to a scene where Scarlet is fighting the Baroness. Like, what? And you cut back to him, and he's already done beating the shit out of those bad guys. Like, where's the fight? Where is it? I wanted to fight. You bring the freaking dude from the Raid movies. You bring the fight choreographer from Rurouni Kenshin. You bring Andrew Koji, who's in The Warrior. I'm guessing that show has pretty well filmed action scenes, but you don't utilize them to your advantage to make something amazing? Christ!
Hallelujah! Holy shit!
I just hated everything about the fight scenes. It looks like they did good stunt work. It looks like they were gonna have a badass fight. But they don't film it well. You can barely tell what's going on. You can barely have a fight that doesn't have quick cut editing that cuts to something else that makes you feel like there's nothing. It feels like nothing. Like, you don't feel the tension. You don't feel the adrenaline. Hell, you don't feel for anything for the characters, like a bead of sweat or anything tense about them. Nothing. I wanted to feel the fights with Storm Shadow fighting Snake Eyes. I wanted to feel the fights between Storm Shadow and his burdens, his vengeance, everything about him in those fights. But they don't utilize it to their advantage. This director has terrible vision for action, and this shows it. Like, whoever this director is, I'm sorry, man, you were the worst person for the job. Someone like David Leitch should have been a guy that should have directed this. Hell, anyone who's done the John Wick movies is better than this director. or whoever did Extraction. They had some cool shots with Chris Hemsworth fighting, and they didn't like quick cut edit that a lot in that film, and Chris Hemsworth seemingly had done all that work, which is pretty cool. I was like, awesome, you did it, Chris. Too bad the movie was not that good to me, but at least you did some cool action stunt work in that film that was warranted. But this movie just... I felt so disappointed. What is my love for the G.I. Joe movies? I did like the first one. I did like Retaliation. Fair enough, you know. Even the action in G.I. Joe Retaliation is at least somewhat better than this. But then again, let's not argue about it, because to be fair, the one cool scene in that film is Snake Eyes trying to fight Storm Shadow, and they're both trying, and I forgot who else, Lady something, were going into this like mountains to fight all these ninja, and that cool mountain fight was at least something to behold, something to be cool to watch. But for a movie that's more focused on the ninjas, on the clan, on the swordplay, and even filmed in Japan, which the locations that they shot in Japan are very aesthetically pleasing. I do love like the seedy like corners of Japan where you see like all like the food trucks or like the food corners that they have, and all the neon lights bright up, even cool for fight scenes. I did love that. I just wish the action was filmed better to utilize it more with those beautiful locations. And since they wanted to film it in Japan, it was amazing what they did to get those shots in Japan, actually shoot in those locations. I was actually in love with that. I just wish there was a better movie to go with it. But it just felt terrible. And this is supposed to be the Snake Eyes movie to show you his origin, how he took the vow of silence, how he and Storm Shadow became blood brothers, but then sadly feel betrayed at the end and wanting to go and earn back his trust and right the wrong he did. It feels like something that could have been interesting, but sadly felt rushed. Sadly felt like there was not enough time and dedication to rework the script to be better. Like, this movie feels like it was written on its second draft and they still haven't worked out the kinks yet. And I feel like maybe this was originally a Storm Shadow movie, because Storm Shadow gets the best character development in this film rather than Snake Eyes. And that's really sad when you think about it. Snake Eyes gets a 3.5 out of 10. No, 3.4. 3.4 out of 10 for me. Tops. Because that Storm Shadow origin, great. Beautiful. Felt like he was Tommy in the beginning and then became Storm Shadow at the end. Snake Eyes, he felt nothing to me, which is sad. I didn't like this. The movie could have been something great, but I feel like it missed the mark completely for what it did. It just felt terrible. And if this is their way of rebooting the franchise, looks like we'll be waiting another few years for another reboot of this franchise. Again. But what do you guys think? Did you like the movie? Did you not want to watch it and just want to hear me rant about it and say, hey, you know what? Is it worth renting or buying on digital? It's not. It's not. But what are your opinions on it? If you ever saw it in the theater, did you see it at home? What are your thoughts on it? Thank you guys for watching. If you like this, awesome. I'm happy you loved it. I'm happy I'm making content that's good for you and good for me, that's passion for me to talk about. Thank you, Wolfpack, for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, darlings.
Ow, ow, ow! Ow! Ow!